Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. So today it's almost September, so we're going to do the birthday readings for September birthdays. So happy birthday, September birthdays. So it's Virgos and Libras for the September birthdays. This is very roughly, but it's very pretty looking. There's like Hugin and Moonin and Yggdrasil and all that. So I'm going to be doing a full Futhark reading for your birthday month. Well, it's for your year. It's a birthday reading, basically with runes. Like with everything else, time is not measured in calendars and clocks. Time is measured in events. So this will happen, then this, then this. However, when I do a full Futhark reading, that does tend to be a year. So moving forward, so here is your birthday reading for the September birthdays, and we're going to use the bone runes because I haven't used those in a while, and it's also, they're cool. So starting with from now until this time next year. Oop, that one jumped out. That's cool. La la la. Okay, so your central issue right now for yourself is represented by Fehu. Fehu is the rune of wealth and worth. It's cattle, but it's probably not about cattle for you. It might be, but it's basically wealth and worth. So your focus right now is on your wealth and your worth, your sense of worth. And this is not just money, this is the wealth that you tend, because it is cattle. So it's basically your movable wealth, your living wealth, your thing that makes you feel rich and wealthy, except it's the thing that you have to take care of. So that's your central issue. Could just be about wealth as well. Leading up to this, we have Dagas. Dagas is the rune of the breakthrough of the day. So it's basically, there's been a big revelation lately, like recently, for you that has basically brought this into your head of, okay, after this big reveal that I cannot ignore, I'm very concerned about wealth and my worth and maybe even money. Because it is upright, it's not like inner, although inner is always implied with this. But mostly I'm thinking it's probably something material or something very much open and in the world out there. So, and around you. So that led you to your question about, your current question about wealth and worth. What helps is we have Isa. Isa is the rune of ice, and it has to do with stillness, and it has to do with standstill, and it also has to do with clarity. It is on what's helping you, so you might want to take a moment and just be still and let the clarity come in about what you're dealing with right now in terms of this question. So I'm going to lay down a couple more, yeah. And what might also help is, okay, I'm going to read this a few ways. What will help you get still enough to really think about this question is we have Othala reversed. Othala is the rune of the home and the homeland. It's Odin's rune. And it has to, and basically reversed, it has to do with letting go of things that no longer serve you. So you're going to basically removing everything that isn't serving you to see where you stand. As well, you want to leave your comfort zone, which is eventually you're going to have to really face that. And finally, this is basically saying, find home within, find within where you want to be at, and let that inform your stillness, which will help you think about your question about wealth and worth. So what doesn't help, we have Hagalaz. Wait a minute, is that Hagalaz or is that, I forget how they do, no, that's not Hagalaz. I think we do have Hagalaz. You know what, I'm just going to quickly look. These runes have a slightly different way of doing Hagalaz. And I want to make sure that this is not Hagalaz and in fact Sovilo as I believe it to be. So, oh yes, there's Hagalaz. So Hagalaz is not that, that is Sovilo. So what will not help you in this case is this revelation here that happened that made you start questioning your wealth and worth. This was huge and it was overwhelming and it was like blinding. So like the sun, it's kind of like filled your entire field of vision and you feel like you can't stop thinking about it, and you can't do anything but think about it, and that can drag you down, especially since all you're thinking about is the challenge that it is. This is Thurizaz, it's the rune of the challenge. It's the gateway, the thorn, the giant, and it's in what's the most not helping you. So you're actually, this really shook you, and this overwhelmed you, and it's like this challenge is in your face. So instead of worrying through this challenge, which isn't going to help at all, bring yourself back to a state of stillness. Start letting go of what no longer serves you. And this will help you with this. Then, your next step, we have Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree. It has to do with beginnings and birth. And reversed on the path line, I'm going to say that if there was something that you were starting, two things. There's Hagalaz. The two things, if there was something that you were working on or starting before this, you might want to see if you want to put a hold on that. As well, you might want to start something, you might be starting something on this step after reflecting like this, very, very internally. You might want to start birthing a new you internally at this point. So what will help you with that is surprises. Surprises, as your fate is revealed, basically. This is the Peritho is the lot box. Has to do with surprises and fate, but surprises that are unarguable. So this is sort of, we have three like overwhelming things happening here. We have this initial, unignorable revelation, and then the fact that it felt like it overwhelmed you. And this is like, because you've spent some time thinking about it and being still with it and letting go of things that don't serve you, it's been reduced to the casting of lots. Okay, it's like you've got a bite-size revelations of your fate that are coming into light at this point. And that's actually going to help you, is chunking it down. At the same time, it's also what you learn as you move forward is going to help you grow this new you internally. Yeah, I'm sort of reading that more as that than my initial thought is still there, that there might be something that you had started, like gung-ho started, and you might have to sort of fold that over, like close the book on that for a little bit. It doesn't mean you'll never start it again. It just means that this thing that you're beginning might have to wait to begin at a better time. So at this point, just basically you're following the revelations, the small revelations along the way, and that's what's helping you develop this new you that you're birthing internally. What doesn't help is we have Raido. Raido's the rune of the journey, and you're a little bit concerned about this journey. I'm going to push this up because this is kind of, I like to have the tree in the middle. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to move this a little bit. This journey is worrying you that you are on, and I don't blame you, because it's a big surprise that happened, that it wasn't like the best surprise, a big revelation. And yeah, you're gonna want to, this is worrying. It's a challenge, and it was overwhelming, and now you're moving forward and it's worrying. So if that starts to be the case, just keep looking for the surprises along the way that are revealing to you your path, and keep developing yourself internally. Now what this leads to, we have Hagalaz. Now Hagalaz is the rune of the hailstorm, and it has to do with chaos and natural energies and natural forces, but also the uncontrolled uncontrollables and just the wildness of things. So you're stepping forward into this. Maybe you have left your comfort zone to a certain extent moving into this, because it's not something you've ever really paid attention to before, but you're going to a good place, basically. You're on your way to a good place, and I'll get to that. So this is like wild and trackless. You've never walked this path before. This is absolutely new, and it's kind of scary, and it's out of control, and it's kind of dangerous feeling. What helps here is that you are able to stand up for yourself. We have Algiz. Algiz is the rune of the elk. It's the rune of protection and support. The elk in North America, we call that a moose. So just letting you know, same animal, different location. So this is an elk. It has to do with protection and support. Reversed, it has to do with you are standing up for yourself. What doesn't help here is we have Yira. Yira is the rune of harvest and time. And what you're basically feeling like at this point is, I feel like I've wasted so much time already and I don't know how little time I have left, and it sort of makes you panic. Please try not to panic. If you start to feel that way, think of how far you've come so far, even just in these few steps, and remind yourself that you can stand up in this. You are able to stand up in this. And you are strong enough to protect yourself and support yourself. And what this leads to is you're like rejoining humanity. You're stepping back into your notes in the song of humanity at this point, and it's great. It's a really good step here. You're going to go through a little, so right here you are now, thinking about, after this revelation, thinking about wealth and worth. Maybe you had to end something you were beginning, but you started an internal journey of growth. Everything is going to be wild and unpredictable and new and crazy and scary, but you're going to get through that because you can support yourself. And at this point, the next step at this point along the path is Manas, which is the rune of humanity, and it's you sort of stepping into your place in humanity. So what helps you at this point is we have Avaz. Avaz is the rune of the horse, and the horse has to do with movement, so keep moving forward, but it also has to do with spirit. And I'm sure when you were being still and letting, finding your inner home and letting go of things that no longer serve you, and sort of tuning into the revelations along the way, you've sort of developed a level of spirit, like an element of spirituality to your to what's informing you as you move forward. And that's great. And again, your spirituality may vary. This could be religion, this could be a spiritual practice, this could be a shamanic practice, this could, well, that's also a spiritual practice. Whatever your spirituality is, whatever your version of it, could be science, let this inform you. And this will help you keep moving forward in your re-entering of society. And what doesn't help is we have Uruz. Now, Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. It has to do with strength and health. However, in the lower line, it also has to do with stubbornness. You may be clinging to some of the things that you very rightly let go of along the way, and you may be clinging to what your idea of the world was before this revelation changed everything, and you had to really think about things again. So this might drag you down and keep you from being as lithe in your movements as you would like. If that starts to be the case, just take a deep breath, be the horsey, and keep moving forward, keep singing your note in the song, and let your version of spirituality inform you. What this is leading to is we have Tivaz reversed. Tivaz is the rune of Tyr. Tyr is the warrior god. It has to do with not only riding out and driving forward and going into battle, basically, but it has to do with tending duties and responsibilities. Now, it is reversed here, so I'm going to read this a couple ways. One, you're going to feel like you don't have to fight anymore, which is great because it's awful to have to feel like you're fighting all the time. Two, you're going to be going back to this internal growth and development and tending your inner duties and your inner responsibilities. So let's throw down a few more. Okay. So what helps at this point is we have Vunyo reversed. Now, Vunyo is the rune of joy. It is reversed, but it's on the helping lines. So I'm going to read this again 2 ways. One, your inner joy, like keep your finger on the pulse of your inner joy. That's going to help direct you. Also, what doesn't make you happy is going to be very informative for you. You're going to be very aware of, okay, well, it's like I know art, but I know art, but I know what I don't like. Sort of a variant on the saying. But it's basically your discontent may help you with this, but I'm seeing this more as your inner joy. So it's going to be a bit of both. Your inner joy is going to help you just lay down your sword, but also your discontent with it is going to help you not fight anymore. So either way, it's good. What doesn't help is, again, you're clinging to things from before. We have Gebo, which is the rune of the gift. It's always an exchange. It has to do with sometimes plans, decisions, agreements. You may have had plans, and you may be thinking of this, which you let go and sort of closed the book on for a little bit. And you may be sort of clinging to that instead of moving forward, and that's not going to help you in this step. So if you start to feel nostalgic for what wasn't helping you before, bring yourself back up and sort of tap into your deep inner joy, and that will help you move forward. And your next step is Ansus. Ansus is the rune of communication and manifestation. I'm just seeing how many runes we have left. Oh good, we've got some nice runes left. I'm just going to keep them in my hand because that's how it's going to be. So you're actually going to be more communicative, but also better at manifesting your future. What's going to help here is, at this point, you want to tell your story. We have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is Frey, and Frey is a fertility god, and his rune has to do with active creation. So you're going to be able to really shape your surroundings at this point. That's what's going to help you at this point when you want to be telling your story. You're able to actually spin it, which is great. Not spin like political spin, but you're able to actually weave and put together what you're creating around you, as well as tell your story, but also manifesting your surroundings and what you want around you. What doesn't help is, I'm messing up my runes. What doesn't help is we have Laguz reversed. Now Laguz is the rune of the heart. It's water. It's all the watery stuff. So it's emotion, intuition, and heart. And it's reversed here. So you may feel like you want to suppress your emotions about this and what's going on. Please try not to do that. Bring yourself back up into just weaving all of that mess, that glorious mess, into what the story that you're telling, and also what's surrounding you in your life, your world, your reality. And this will actually lead to you opening up, which is great. You're going to open up more to the world than you had before. Woo! So what helps at this point is patience, because you're gonna have to be patient with yourself, because you've gone through this whole thing, and opening up is a bit scary. I mean, you made the step through all this scary times. After that, you've made the step of rejoining humanity. You stopped fighting, which is, you know, probably you'd been feeling like you'd been struggling and fighting for a long time. You finally start to open up and tell your story, and from there you start to open up more. This is scary, so be patient with yourself. You don't have to do it all at once. I mean, you don't have to open up all at once, and you don't have to tell the whole story all at once. Just let it grow and develop slowly. Oh, this is Ivaz. Ivaz is the yew tree rune. Patience and slow growth. What doesn't help is, this is Nauthiz. Nauthiz is the rune of need. Do not edit, do not edit as the story is coming out. As you're opening up, basically if you go out in the garden and if something is coming up, growing, you let that come up, unless it's a weed and you just pull it. But if you're growing like a plant to eat or something, as it's coming up, you're not going to be editing it, you're not going to be weeding it, you're going to be weeding it, but you're not going to be picking at it, because then it won't grow properly. And that's the same with this new life and your story and everything. Let it grow. Just let it come as it will. Let it grow patiently as it will. And what this will lead to is really a whole new world. Absolutely, it was blank rune. So, a whole new world for you. By this time next year, you won't recognize, if you saw yourself here, if you from now saw yourself here, you would be like, who is this person? This is a cool person. I wish I was like this person. Well, I've got good news for you, because you will be that person in a year. So that, happy birthday, is your September birthday reading. So I wish you a lovely day or evening and a lovely birthday when you have it. Take care till next time. Bye.